Hi, I'm going to make a quick video about the p-value and the level of significance since some of you might be missing it. So for the first is, if the p-value is less than or equal to the level of significance, you reject your null. What does that mean? That means the null is false and HA is true. But remember, there's a lot more going on with that, but I'm just trying to simplify it to help you. So if your p-value is greater than the level of significance, you will say the null is true, comma, and then the HA is false. So let's go through that again now that I've written this up. If the p-value is less than or equal to the level of significance, and remember that's the little fish, or it could be as a percentage, it could be as a decimal, you just need to make it as a decimal. And most of the times you'll see these as 0.01, 0.05, or 0.10. So if it's less than or equal to the level of significance, you reject your null, which means the null is false and the alternative is true. If the p-value is greater than the level of significance, you fail to reject the null, which means the null is true and the alternative is false, okay? So again, that's how you're going to make your rules, and it might help when you write your hypotheses that you put true and false based on your p and your level of significance, the outcome from there. So let's do some examples, okay? So here I go, using the first rule. So my p-value is 0.046, and my level of significance is 0.05. So if I compare these two, so I'm going to go over here and do this. Oops, excuse me. I'm going to do 0.046. Just take it to the next line so we don't get confused. And I'm going to compare it to 0.05. Okay, so what's going on here? Is this number bigger than this number? A lot of people have problems when there's more decimals on one side than the other. So all I'm going to do is put another decimal here. It keeps it in the same format. I just added another level of decimals. So from here, I can see that 46 is less than 50. So all I do, I'm going to steal the symbol from up here. This makes this a true statement. So 0.046 is less than or equal to 0.50. So that means I reject my null. And then that means what? HO is false and HA is true. Okay? That's what that means. That's all that means. You don't have to do anything else to it. Okay, let's look at a different example. I'm going to bring this one up so you can see it with the other ones because it might be good to compare it. So here I have a p-value of 0.20, and then I have a level of significance of that. All right, well, something else is going on here. This 0.20 is greater than this 0.10. So that means I'm going to take this greater than symbol and I'm going to do this. And again, when I actually do these, when I'm doing real research, I actually do this. I write this down so I can go back and look at it if I ever have questions. So because 0.20, the p-value, is greater than 0.10, the level of significance, I fail to reject the null, which means HO is true and HA is false. Okay, so there again, we had the first one was reject the null, the second one was fail to reject the null, and that's what I'm trying to keep straight. Right, here's another one, okay? So the p-value is 0.10 and the level of significance is 0.10. Okay, so 0.10 with 0.10, they're the same number. So what am I going to do? Well, remember up here, you had less than or equal to for the level for right here to reject the null. So if I put this in, and I hope some of you do remember this from 1001 or from other math classes, this is a true statement because of that equality sign. 0.10 is equal to 0.10. So since this is the case and it's a true statement, I reject the null again. And again, that means my null is false and my HA is true. All right, and let's do the last one. All right, here we go. So p-value is 0.45 and level of significance is 0.10. Okay, so I'm going to do 0.45 and then I'm going to do this. Okay, this again is greater than, excuse me, So that means I failed to reject the null. Oops. All right, so what does that mean again? The HO is true and HA is false. Okay. It's that simple. So as you see, we have 2 where it was failed to reject and 2 where it was reject the null. Again, my best way to do this is I write them out and then I visually look at them. This is where many of you might be missing the conclusions, is because you make this conclusion wrong and then that means that your other conclusions will be wrong. So just think about this. You don't have to overthink it. It is pretty easy. We're going to use this in t-test, z-test, ANOVA, chi-squared, and regression. So most of Module 3 and Module 4. So again, I'm going to post this worksheet for help. If you need anything else, let me know. Thanks.